Thanks for joining us. I'm David Molko.
And I'm Christine Pitawanich. The first Orange Bowl in Oregon football history is less than 2 days away.
And as the Ducks flew south, so did our Orlando Sanchez, who joins us live from Hard Rock Stadium in Miami Gardens, Florida. Orlando, a little bird told us you caught up with the team after practice today.
Yeah, and they've had a lot to talk about. The Oregon Ducks opening and kicking off 2026 right here in Miami at Hard Rock Stadium. That's also home to the NFL's Miami Dolphins, and it's the site of the 2026 Orange Bowl. Now, the Ducks back in the college football playoff quarterfinal for the second straight year. But unlike last season, they don't have to worry about that long layover between games. Built for the moment.
Experiencing that adversity, I think, has just prepared us for these bigger games.
A year in the making.
You know, thinking on last year, it's kind of fueled us a little bit to get to where we are now. You know, that feeling, it sucks, just honestly. So just doing everything to not feel that again.
This time around, the circumstances much different leading up to the quarterfinals.
Definitely different. You know, less time off. I think that's been a benefit for our players. Staying in sequence and rhythm. It's a lot easier to maintain that rhythm for us, but definitely a difference.
Texas Tech will be faced with the rest versus rust challenge. They haven't played a game in 3.5 weeks. The Ducks want to set the tone.
Tech's a really strong team. You know, even if you look at them deep in the fourth quarter, they've really beat their teams by a heavy margin in the fourth quarter. So it's about playing a four-quarter battle, but that starts with starting fast.
Yeah, and Texas Tech's head coach even telling us they're going to have to weather the storm. They know what's coming, especially after not playing a game in 3.5 weeks. Now, one advantage for the Red Raiders is that their quarterback has been dealing with a leg injury, so this was more time for him to recover. Now, if we go back to last year in the college football playoff, every team that had a bye lost their first game. So I know Ducks fans are hoping that trend is their friend when the Ducks kick off 2026 right here in Miami. David?
Yeah, the excitement is real. Orlando Sanchez all the way in Florida. We cannot wait for kickoff. Thanks, Orlando.
All right, and speaking of the weather, Matt Zafino, 70 degrees in the Sunshine State today. You know, it's not too bad here. It's chillier, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, we may not be Florida warm, but it's been a warm month of December here in Portland. In fact, we are on track to have our warmest December ever if you look at the average temperature for the entire month. Now, this is only through yesterday because we can't include today yet because it's not over. And the mornings, this morning and tomorrow morning, cold, and may bring that average down a bit. But again, even if we're not the first, this will be at least one of the warmest Decembers we've ever had. Same thing for Vancouver, Salem, Eugene, and Hillsborough. It's just been warm, and as you know, it's been really wet. We've had over 8.5 inches of rain, but we finally got enough snow to get ski season going. They're night skiing up at Timberline. You see the Bruno's chair is running there. Temperatures out of, well, up to 49 degrees. Wow, it just surged on up a little bit there, interestingly enough. Okay, we've had strong gusty winds too. Corbett, a gust of 65, Crown Point 62, Troutdale 47, that's the east side of town. It's been blustery on the east side of Portland today, but these winds will begin to back off later on this evening. So we get one more cold morning with areas of frost where it's not windy. If it's windy, you'll stay above freezing. It's too dry, you won't have any frost. But with no wind, 20s and areas of frost. Dry through tomorrow night. Then we begin to get showers on Thursday, and that may fall into cold air in eastern Oregon to produce areas of freezing rain. We'll touch more on that later, guys.
Okay, thank you, Matt.
Well, it's a new information tonight as the referendum challenging much of Oregon's transportation funding package officially qualifies for the November ballot. The so-called Stop the Gas Tax referendum, led by a couple of Republican state lawmakers, needed just over 78,000 signatures. And today, the Secretary of State's office said well over 160,000 were verified. That means the planned hikes to the gas tax, payroll tax, title fees, and some registration fees will be paused until voters have their say. It also means that ODOT finds itself in dire financial straits yet again, which lawmakers will no doubt be debating during the upcoming short legislative session.
And as nightly temperatures drop, Portland is reevaluating when fire crews should let campfires burn, while neighbors worry that one spark could lead to disaster.
Let's bring in Blair Best live downtown outside Portland Fire Station 1 with those details. Blair?
So the city is reviewing its policy around warming fires. Meanwhile, Portland Fire and Rescue is changing how it responds by allowing homeless people to burn small, low-risk, contained fires. But I'm told that is on a case-by-case basis and ultimately left up to the firefighters' discretion. But some people argue that a small fire can get out of control. Take a look at this video. It shows a Southeast Portland apartment complex in flames after a fire at a nearby homeless camp spread. That was last year. People in the Pearl District this year say officials have not been responding to the open fires popping up in their neighborhood lately. Fire officials tell us they have modified their response in some cases to allow people to use a small fire to stay warm and cook food.
These warming fires are being set at the base of the perimeter of the buildings, which is hazardous to the structure. But we don't get any response from Portland Fire because it's not a high priority.
If all the information aligns with what we consider a low-risk fire, we could permit that to continue without even responding.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome, actually, yeah, because I know quite a few times, like, we had a fire truck come around and, hose our stuff down.
Now, first responders will try and connect people with shelter, but emergency warming centers are not currently open in Multnomah County. However, a city spokesperson tells me that this year they're working more closely than ever with the county to keep city-run shelters open 24/7 during cold weather events. Back to you.
Blair Best downtown. Thanks, Blair.
In your headlines, new details in a Hillsborough homicide investigation. Saturday afternoon, officers responded to a disturbance call near Southeast TV Highway and 18th Avenue. They found a 41-year-old man shot to death inside a car. Officers tracked down and arrested 32-year-old Oscar Ruiz Santiago during a traffic stop at South Meadows Middle School. Investigators say Santiago and the victim knew each other. Santiago now faces murder and multiple weapons charges.
New tonight, we have learned the name of the man shot and killed by Vancouver police officers over the weekend. The Clark County Medical Examiner says 44-year-old Perry Sellers died from gunshot wounds to his torso. When police responded to the home Saturday just before midnight, the same man was outside pointing a gun at a woman inside the home that he had fired at least one round. They allege Sellers then turned the gun toward them, and that's when they opened fire. Washington's Office of Independent Investigations is now reviewing that use of force.
In Portland, an 18-year-old and a juvenile are in custody accused of shooting a man last night. It happened just before 11 o'clock along Northeast Gleason near I-205. Officers found a 51-year-old man had been shot, though he is expected to survive. Alejandro Manduano is charged with attempted murder, among other things. The juvenile is also facing charges like assault.
In an update, we're learning more about what appear to be power surges in Northeast Portland when several of you reached out to us to report the lights in your neighborhood were flickering on and off. Well, today Pacific Power telling us it is related to repair work on a substation dating back to fire damage in early September. It turns out some customers were connected to adjoining stations in order to keep the lights on. But after the surges last night, the utility sent crews back out today to make more adjustments, which they say should fix that issue moving forward.
And finally, former Oregon football head coach Chip Kelly is headed back to college football and the Big Ten Conference. He was named the new offensive coordinator at Northwestern today. Most recently, Kelly was in the NFL calling plays for the Las Vegas Raiders, but he was fired just before Thanksgiving after a 2-9 start. Kelly spent 4 seasons as head coach of the Ducks from 2009 to 2012.
To a tough and understandably traumatic afternoon for one family who witnessed the remains of their son being removed from Portland's cemetery plot after the cemetery accidentally sold the same piece of land twice.
Tim Gordon is here with us now. Tim, this involved a lengthy court battle and, of course, heartache for the family.
And Christine, the heartache continues. This is not something Tyber Harrison's family wanted to do, but legally they had no choice. And we want to warn viewers, some of the video shows the disinterment happening this afternoon. This is a story we've been following for a few years now. Harrison was a 20-year-old college student when he was hit and killed by a car in Florida in 2016. In 2021, his mother bought a plot at Skyline Memorial Gardens on the top of a bluff and buried a memorial vault there, which includes some of her son's cremated remains. After that, the cemetery realized it had previously sold the same plot to the Reeser family, who didn't want to give it up. So the cemetery filed a lawsuit against Tiber's mom, Paula, to force a disinterment of Tiber's memorial vault. The cemetery won. That led to today, and the very difficult time for Tiber's mom, 3 siblings, and other family and friends who gathered to see his remains and memorial items removed from the earth. And a 1,500-pound granite bench, also part of the memorial, lifted away. A mother reliving extreme grief and angry she's being forced to find a new home for her son. We spoke with her husband after the process was complete.
I would describe it as the third time she had to bury her son, to experience that just brutal pain. And it was done so in a way that, underlined a level of cruelty and inhumanity. I think there's a great deal of anger. I think that, bigger picture, this company should not be able to perform business this way.
So we received a statement from Skyline's parent company, Dignity Memorial, saying they wouldn't be commenting. As for Tiber's family, they plan to continue looking into an appeal of the lawsuit decision that led to this. Back to you.
Yeah, definitely a difficult day. Appreciate your reporting on this, Tim. KGW News continues in just 2 minutes with details on a special kind of search going on along the Oregon coast.
So far today, we've seen at least 12. It can be pretty difficult to make sure we're counting exactly how many go by.
Look at that sunshine, how rangers and visitors from near and far are hoping to catch a glimpse.
Plus, we follow Red Cross volunteers along the Clackamas, working to help people still cleaning up from all the flooding. Stay with us.
The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust on your time. Track how the weather will impact your day.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
Extended, continuous coverage of breaking news live from the scene.
That snowpack is still heavy.
Go deeper with in-depth interviews and exclusive reporting. All the local news you need, live or on demand. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yeah.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW Plus.
Welcome back to an update now on the aftermath of those mid-December storms and all the flooding from the Clackamas River just spilling over its banks. Red Cross volunteers are still going door to door, trying to help people as best they can.
Libby Dowsett reports from the Paradise Park area northwest of Estacada.
The Clackamas River here beside me came over the banks, seeped into the homes behind me, into their basements, in their crawl spaces, and then spread out throughout this neighborhood on Paradise Road. Now the Red Cross wants to know who is still in need of a helping hand.
John and Linda with the Red Cross, do you have any damage inside your house?
Red Cross volunteers John Vinja and Linda Sullivan are hitting the streets to check in with Paradise Park neighbors who are still cleaning up from the mid-December floods.
I think we've talked with like 4 or 5 different families so far, because they'll tell you, the kitchen got affected or the bedroom, bathroom.
It definitely came up into their neighborhoods and stuff, but luckily
most of the homes that we've been in contact with, the water damage was to non-living areas. In other words, it came into the basement, it came into the garage.
December 18th, a churning, angry Clackamas River overflowed its banks and sent water gushing through the streets.
Our daughter had a roller coaster toy. It was all the way on the other side of the neighborhood.
Spencer Morgan says he's still trying to figure out what actually washed away from his shop.
We can offer them resources in the area to try and replace furnishings. We can offer them a little bit of money if they need it to replace things. Most of them have been pretty lucky. The ones that weren't home are the ones, of course, that look like they may have sustained some pretty good damage in living areas.
Volunteers say if you're in need of assistance, all you have to do is call 1-800-RED Cross and expect to see volunteers canvassing neighborhoods like this one in the coming weeks. In Paradise Park, Libby Dowsett, KGW News.
Glad we've got nothing like that rain in the forecast right now, you know?
Yeah, glad that's behind us for sure. And while we have some showers in the forecast, nothing heavy, no big atmospheric river, so we'll be in pretty good shape as we roll the calendar from 2025 into 26. Let's take you up to the Oregon Zoo where zoo lights are still going on. Beautiful, beautiful scene there. Downtown Portland, also a clear sky. 43 degrees right now. The east wind continues to blow. It'll weaken, but not completely end tomorrow. Portland ended up at 49, but Vancouver, Scappoose, Hillsborough, McMinnville, and Aurora all made it up to 50 today, which is a little bit above average for this time of the year. Yesterday, Brookings hit 60. Today, they just missed out at 59, but that's not bad. 34 at Joseph, 45 in Bend. Now, notice how the color pattern here gradually shrinks, but it doesn't end. This is where the strongest winds are, and they extend into the West Hills, but mostly the gusts there will be about 20 to 25 miles an hour. The stronger gusts will remain in the Western Gorge right around Crown Point and Corbett, where today it gusted to 60, 65 miles an hour. Tomorrow morning, though, in town, low 30s, so that means areas of frost, especially if you live in an area that doesn't get hit by the east wind, then you'll likely have frost. If it is windy, it'll just feel cold and windy, but mainly sunny through the day, even as we catch some high clouds coming in later on in the day, and really not from the west or from the northwest, but from the south. Notice the rain shield is lifted north into central California. This is the weather system that's going to produce a lot of rain in SoCal, hopefully not flooding rains, and eventually these showers are going to push north into Oregon. You can watch how this goes. You see the east winds here. They will, again, remain with us, but weaken tomorrow. High clouds start to drift over, not a big deal. But then on Thursday, New Year's Day, we get some rain lifting north as early as around sunrise or so on Thursday morning. And notice this. That's freezing rain showing up in some of the valleys of eastern Oregon, eastern Washington eventually too. More likely it'll be later on Thursday, but if your travel plans take you down I-84 towards Pendleton, get ready. There could be some ice on the roads there. We'll keep you posted on that development. That's the only real weather hazard that we have around the Northwest as we go through the next couple of days, New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. Rainfall total through Friday morning, maybe 1/4 to 3/10 of an inch here. If we go through the weekend, we get more showers Saturday and Sunday. It ticks up a bit too. And that 1.23 inches on Mount Hood would translate to some pretty decent snowfall. But the snow level will drop as we go into the weekend too. It's really quite high right now. So weekend showers, the system from the northern Pacific will catch up with that southern system, join forces, and then they roll in. And then that thing fades next week. And then finally, we get a colder northern system coming down over us towards about Thursday of next week. That would promise some better snowfall for the Cascades, and that cold northerly flow would resume again potentially after that. Going forward, see the snowfall forecast because of the system coming in towards the middle and end of next week. Well, before that, over the weekend, just a couple inches, but then it picks up as we get that next system. Hopefully we'll end up with 12 to 20 inches of snow across the Oregon Cascades. That would be great. Portland right now, 43 degrees, freezing level. It's just really high, 13,100 feet. On the coast, sunshine again. After morning frost, there'll be some scattered high clouds, but it should be a great day with highs in the 50s. In the valleys, not bad either. Lows in the 20s where it's not windy. Highs, though, will be in the mid to upper 40s, so pretty tolerable for the end of December. Sunny in the Cascades, 40 at Government Camp, 38 at the ski areas. So another good day up there. We need more snow, but there is skiing to be had. Mostly sunny with areas of frost on the east side. And again, we're watching the forecast for New Year's Day east of the Cascades, quite closely for that freezing rain potential. In the gorge, east winds still gusting to 40 miles an hour at the west side of the gorge. They'll back off more on January 1st. Not as windy in Portland. Morning frost, otherwise mainly sunny and about 50. 47 on Thursday, still in the mid-30s, but above freezing. Then after that, our lows will be around 40 and our highs will be around 50 as we roll into the first week of January.
You know, some showers ahead, but not much to complain about. I'm liking it.
Yeah,
Thanks,
we're
Matt.
not going to get the heavy rain, so that's a bonus for sure.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I love it. All right, let's give you a live look from the coast from our Chinook Wind Sky Cam, where king tides are coming with the highest surf. Oregon State Park says between New Year's Day, that is Thursday, and this Sunday, king tides occur when the Earth, Moon, and Sun are in alignment and are especially pronounced in our winter. Reminder not to get too close to the surf and to never turn your back on the ocean.
Okay, speaking of the ocean, if you're looking to catch a glimpse of migrating gray whales off the coast, well, this week is a great time to do it.
John Goodwin takes us to Depot Bay.
Winter days like this at the Oregon coast can be hard to find. At Rocky Creek State Park, the view is already a reason to stop. But this time of year, there's something else moving through.
Let's just keep watching that area, see if it pops back up.
Paiute Morrison is a park ranger with Oregon State Parks. Staff and volunteers are on the lookout this week at 14 different locations from Warrenton to Brookings for Winter Whale Watch Week.
Most of the whales coming from cold water in Alaska, they're still going to migrate down to 4 main lagoons on the Baja coastline. So far today, we've seen at least 12. It can be pretty difficult to make sure we're counting exactly how many go by. Have you guys seen any whales yet? No. They're pretty far out there. They're going to be around like 3-4 miles offshore, and for reference, that boat right there, that's going to be around about 1.5 miles.
An estimated 19,000 gray whales are slowly making their annual 6,500-mile migration south to warmer water. Unlike the summer months when whales feed closer to shore, this week you'll need to scan the horizon for spouts.
I was in town visiting some family that live further inland, and I just love how rugged and striking the coast is out here. It's more of a surprise that I'm here. I know that they are big and that they swim.
Katie Charn is from North Carolina. She came to take in the view, not knowing it was whale season.
Looking at the water and the coastline is pretty awesome.
What a day. I mean, it doesn't get too much nicer than this on the Oregon coast.
Troy and Liz Klein live in Molalla. They join the many Depot Bay visitors at the Whale Watch Center.
And they have a camera set up in there on the big screen, so he's kind of pointing out the spouts as you see him on the big screen, which is really nice. He's the expert and knows what he's doing, so we got to see quite a bit.
The official Whale Watch Week ends on New Year's Eve, but that doesn't mean it's your only chance.
You have a good chance of seeing them pretty much now through the end of January.
If you can't make it out, mark your calendar for the Spring Whale Watch from March 21st to 29th.
It's a beautiful location. If you're able to add seeing a 45-foot marine mammal on top of that experience, it makes it really, really special.
In Depot Bay, John Goodwin, KGW News.
And what a day for it. All right, still to come, what to do if you have a real Christmas tree sitting in your living room and you're not sure what to do. The answer coming up next.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stay informed, prepared, and connected with KGW and KGW Plus. Coverage that alerts you to what's coming and how it will impact you. Watch extended weather coverage on KGW Plus. The KGW Plus TV app, streaming 24/7. Local news from the team you trust. Track how the weather will impact your day. Breaking news live from the scene. All the local news you need. KGW Plus. Download on your TV and watch for free.
We have now issued a weather impact alert.
We could expect conditions in some parts of our area to change drastically pretty soon, right?
And very quickly, yes.
This is significant rainfall coming our way.
You'll definitely want to be extra cautious.
Certainly becoming increasingly hazardous.
We've got the potential for some tree limbs or even trees or power lines to come down.
Of course, when you hear thunder, it's always best to take cover.
On Weather Impact Alert Days, stream extended coverage on KGW+.
Welcome back. Okay, now that Christmas is over, you may be wondering what to do with your real Christmas tree.
This is where people like me get to put it back in the box, right?
Oh, I guess. You're right. Okay.
It's a trade-off.
There is a trade-off there. Okay, people with yard debris collection programs can recycle their trees at home. And in Portland, you can set out trees that are 6 feet or shorter next to your compost bin. That option will cost you just under $6. You can also cut it up into smaller pieces and place it in your compost bin for no extra charge.
There are some things that you need to look into. Of course, a real Christmas tree might have a lot of string lights and ornaments and a tree topper and that Christmas tree base. And we want to have all of those things removed before you put it in your curbside bin.
Yeah, good to remember. So stuff to take off your tree includes that flocking or fake snow.
How do you get that off?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it. All that needs to go into the trash. And if you don't have a yard debris bin, there are also all kinds of other nonprofits and organizations that hold drop-off events and even Christmas tree recycling pickups. To find one near you, give Metro's recycling team a call. 503-234-3000. You can see the number there on your screen, or you can visit oregonmetro.gov/askmetro.
Okay, a reminder for Portlanders, the phased-in ban on these gas-powered leaf blowers takes effect on Thursday. It applies to public and private property, though there is a bit of a grace period. Here's the fine print. For the first 2 years, crews can use gas blowers in the fall. It is not fall to deal with heavy, wet leaves, but in 2028, that ban becomes year-round with potential fines for those who break the rules.
And a reminder as we head into New Year's Eve, personal fireworks are illegal in Portland. Portland Fire and Rescue is urging people to report firework usage either online at portland.gov/fireworks or by calling 311. And please remember, unless it is an emergency, do not call 911 to report fireworks instead of lighting your own fireworks. You can check out the New Year's Eve drone show for free downtown at Pioneer Courthouse Square.
And if you're planning to stay in, nothing wrong with that. I'll be right here. Join us for a very Northwest New Year's celebration as we ring in 2026 on KGW with New Year's at the Needle. Check out celebrations, including Portland's drone show, culminating, of course, the big show in Seattle at the Space Needle. It's New Year's at the Needle Wednesday night, right after KGW News at 11.
Thank you so much for joining us for the news here at 6 on KGW+.
I'll be back at 11 with your headlines and weather impact forecast from all of us at KGW. Once again, a very happy holidays and an early Happy New Year.